Donald Trump is having a catastrophic Sunday as our service members overseas are making it clear that they have had enough of his despicable and catastrophic and unlawful war. Trita Parsi, independent journalist, just posted the following. This image was sent to me from the field. These are messages U.S. servicemen in the Persian Gulf have scribbled on the dust of an aircraft flap. Take a look at this aircraft flap right here, and you can see what our service members are writing in the dust. Bibi cucks, sucks wieners and balls, be a good guy and do what Israel tells you to do, stay safe, Operation Epstein Fury, peace deal number 64 incoming, all this for the Holy Land, I love Israel, I love flock cameras, tacos, and then hangman with the word bitch in it right over here. Trita Parsi says that a service member told him what people in the media don't understand when they compare past conflicts to this one is this operation has no morale behind it. That makes a world of difference to service members deployed to undesirable locations indefinitely. Now, while that is coming out of the Middle East right now, we also have Caroline Leavitt, Donald Trump's chief propagandist, posting these videos of Donald Trump where he looks deeply unwell. When he visited Nassau County at the end of last week, he appeared to be wearing an adult diaper or something of that nature. Let me show you the video that Caroline Leavitt, who has recently said that she's resigning from the White House, posted. Here, let's play this clip. And then just so you can see it from a different angle over here, let's play this clip. Now, while Donald Trump is cognitively and physically rotting before our eyes, it should also be noted that the war is escalating between Russia and Ukraine and Russia's invasion of Ukraine. This is video coming out this morning, a Russian Shahed drone striking a shopping center on the outskirts of Odessa, injuring 2 people. Let's play this clip. So Donald Trump turned to his chief propagandist again this morning, Barack Ravid, over at Axios, to post the following. The Trump administration established in mid-May a secret back channel to the IRGC, Iran's Revolutionary Guard Command, through the president of the Kurdistan region in Iraq. They say the Trump administration's key problem today and in any future negotiations will be making sure it's talking to the people who are actually calling the shots. That also means finding mediators who are trusted by both the White House and the Iranian regime. This is why it says it's been tricky for the U.S. to negotiate in a country where Washington isn't sure who is exactly in charge. What are you talking about? We know who's in charge of Iran. This is the propaganda play today before the markets open to brag about negotiations from back in May and still claiming you don't know who to negotiate with and you don't know how Iran works. That's where we are 6 months into this thing. And then we have the U.S. Naval Forces Central Command attacking the MeidasTouch network and our reporting that the conditions aboard the USS Boxer, just like the USS Abraham Lincoln and the USS George H.W. Bush, and before that, the USS Gerald Ford, and frankly, all of our ships are in really bad condition right now. And so we reported about the USS Boxer because we've been hearing from family members. Aaron Parnas, who's affiliated with the MeidasTouch networks, been leading the way on some incredible reporting here. And here's the U.S. Naval Forces CENTCOM attacking us again this morning. Reports of more emerging of USS Boxer experiencing a shortage in hygiene products for women in uniform are false. The ship has made 4 port visits since departing San Diego in March. The crew has been at sea for less than 2 months since the last port call, and they are stocked with feminine products. Okay, so you're just saying the family members are lying, or are you saying our sailors are lying? Just stop it. Just stop it. Just fix the problem. I know Donald Trump's whole life has been blaming people. This is supposed to be the Navy. This is, you know how Donald Trump brags, we're pirates now, we're pirates. Stop behaving like pirates. Behave like the U.S. Navy, damn it, and just take accountability and do the right thing. The MeidasTouch Network fully stands behind our reporting. And in contrast, do you trust our reporting, or do you trust a guy who at 1 a.m. posts weird memes of himself in George Washington frolicking around a golden ballroom? That's what Donald Trump was doing again last night and this morning. Thank you, George, for some of your brilliant ideas on this great military complex ballroom. DJT. Is George Washington talking to you, Donald? Are the mediators talking to you in your head, Donald? Is the IRGC talking to you in your head, Donald? I mean, when Barack repeats like, the main challenge that the Trump administration is going to face is that they don't know who to do deals with in Iran. No, the main problem is Trump. He's a psychotic lunatic. One day he goes, we've done the greatest deal and I'm talking to Iran. Actually, we're going to blow the effing S out of them. Actually, I need my golden ballroom. Actually, the vandals are destroying my beautiful American blue reflecting pool. I mean, he's actually a psychotic human being who's now depleted our interceptors. He's destroyed the morale aboard our incredible supercarriers. He's depleted our attack and offensive capabilities. He's destroyed our military. And he's destroyed our Department of Justice. He's destroyed the United States of America. He brings on Todd Blanche this morning. Did you catch this? Todd Blanche, the new Attorney General. He starts, he does his rounds on the morning shows. So he goes on State Regime Media Fox this morning. He's like, you know what we really need? We need the golden ballroom and we don't need Congress. This is what Donald Trump's sycophantic former personal criminal defense attorney in a case where Donald Trump was found criminally guilty of 34 felony counts. Yes, there's a felon in the Oval Office. Here's his former criminal defense attorney, who's now the Attorney General of the United States of America, saying we don't need Congress for ballrooms. Here, play this clip.
We don't believe we have to go to Congress. We believe Congress has already given us the authority to do what we're doing. Many presidents have done a tremendous amount of work to the White House, as they should, and Congress has authorized them to do so. And so we have a fundamental disagreement with those two judges, as we have told the Supreme Court earlier this week. And we'll see. The Supreme Court has briefing established that'll last, over the next week or two, and we'll go from there. But President Trump has said for many months now, almost a year, that he has the authority to do this, and he said that because he absolutely does have the authority to do this. And
then Kristen Welker and when he goes on NBC says, can you pledge the DOJ will always act independently? He's like, I'm not going to pledge that one bit. I'm not going to be independent. Okay, here, play this clip.
Person, as we just heard in your address to the Justice Department staff this week, you said you and DOJ will, quote, uphold the law without fear or favor. You, of course, used to be President Trump's former personal defense attorney. Can you pledge that the Justice Department will always act independently of the White House?
Well, there's a big difference between saying we will always do our job and investigate any case and act independently of the White House. No, I'm not going to pledge that. And no attorney general should ever pledge that. The president, if I were to pledge I will be independent of the White House, what that means is that if President Trump says, I want the Department of Justice to go after every violent criminal in this country, which is what he has said, what you're saying to me is I should say, no, sir, not going to do it. So.
Then if you wanted to check in on what State Regime Media Fox is doing, they had a fill-in for Maria Bartiromo this morning, and all she did was be like, Donald J. Trump is so great. He's so brave. He's making us so rich. Even when we're poor, we're rich. I'm like, okay, this is some of the most embarrassing things I've ever seen. But here, play this clip.
President Trump has done a lot through the big, beautiful bill, making those tax cuts permanent for people and adding extra tax cuts that put more money in everybody's pockets. I think that's part of the messaging that he'll try to balance when he's also looking at the issue of the Iran war and higher oil and gas prices, to put it in context for people, but also to talk about what he will be doing moving forward.
By the way, this is why we need a good media diet. We need to understand objective damn facts. We need to understand what is actually going on right now in this world. It's why I get my news every morning from Ground News. It helps me really kind of get to the objective facts. Like, take a look at this article right here. Trump's envoy in Middle East to push for Gaza peace plan. Didn't you claim you did peace last October? Oh, Jared Kushner's going back there. Didn't you say there was a ceasefire where we're still seeing over 1,000 people killed in Gaza since your so-called ceasefire, and people getting killed by Netanyahu in Lebanon? So if you take a look right here, this is mostly being covered by right-wing media. Trump's envoy in Middle East to push for Gaza peace plan. Very little coverage on the left, very little coverage on the center, because this is all just propaganda for right wing. So you see that it's basically all just being pushed out to their base. Look, we're making progress now. Sure, we're not doing progress in Iran, but now look what Kushner and Trump's doing. They're making progress in Gaza. Stop it. Just stop it. Here's the story, by the way. Trump's envoy, Jared Kushner, met on Sunday with Hamas leaders in Egypt and pressed them to begin implementing their commitment to disarm, according to two sources familiar with the meeting's details. Well, certainly disarmament is an important thing, but let's not forget what happened this past week. Netanyahu and his regime of genocidal maniacs said that they will never do a peace deal. They said, I've been showing you the quotes of Ben Gvir and Smotrich and the diaspora minister and Israel Katz, the defense minister. Every one of them, Netanyahu, we are never leaving. This is ours. We're never doing a deal ever. There will never be a Gaza. There will never be Palestine. There will never be a Palestinian. That's what they've said. So no wonder the left and the center isn't covering that, because it's just propaganda by the Trump regime. And so, by the way, Ground News is an app and a website that pulls in thousands of articles from around the world. It organizes them by story. It shows you, like I just did, how's the left, how's the center, how's the right framing the story differently. For every story, there's a color-coded layout. It makes you easy to see the political bias of each source. It also shows you, is it independently owned or is it owned by a large corporate conglomerate, which lets you compare reporting on the same issue like we just did. Ground News has that dedicated blind spot feed. I just showed you how it worked. I believe in Ground News so much, we're going to offer you 40% off the same plan that I use for my research. It's called their Vantage plan. So just go click the link in the description or go to ground.news/MTN or scan the QR code up here. It's one of the biggest discounts they've ever offered. If you want to support the channel and get a clearer understanding of the world, try out Ground News. One more time, it's ground.news/MTN or scan the QR code. So going back to the disinformation of Todd Blanche and the lies and the propaganda, this morning, he was also saying, of course my decisions will be based on what Donald Trump tells me. Why wouldn't I? Well, because the Department of Justice is supposed to be an independent entity, Todd Blanche, very simply. Here, play this clip.
Take his opinions into consideration when he says, I think this case should be revived. Will you take that into consideration?
So hold on. Will I take the President of the United States' view on something into consideration? Yes, of course. And I hope every attorney general in history would not answer that question differently. Just let's play that out. The President of the United States, the elected President of the United States, says something to me, and I'm supposed to say to you, I would say, nope. I mean, that's not the way it works. Now, the President is extraordinarily, every day he wakes up with one mission, which is making this country better. And as it relates to me, making this country safer. So if he has a view on that, he talks about it on social media. He talks about it when he speaks to the American people. That's certainly something that I listen to.
I'm asking in part because we did.
Then he goes on to talk about the reflecting pool was actually vandalized, even though his Department of Justice filed paperwork confirming that it was all fabricated by the Department of Interior. Listen to what he says. Play this clip.
Didn't say that all of the damage was done by faulty construction. Okay, so that's where there's some, the media is getting some of the reporting wrong.
Well, it says the damage was done as a result of a botched installation and not vandalism as initially represented.
There was potential vandalism, and we know that there was vandalism because there's witnesses. That's also in the brief that you're citing, that there's witnesses that talked about the fact that there was vandalism.
What do you mean by potential vandalism? Well,
there's a witness that said, I observed the defendant vandalizing the reflecting pool. Now, that's different than whether ultimately we had the proof, and you saw what U.S. Attorney Pirro said about that in her filings. And I said this before, we're talking about a single case, okay? We're talking about one case. We had another case of vandalism against a memorial earlier this week.
And then he's asked, so the Department of Justice lost 22 cases trying to force states to turn over voter rolls. Are you just going to stop this now? And can you stop harassing states over their elections? Like, nope, we're going to continue to harass them. Here, play this clip.
Justice Department, which has lost 22 cases trying to force states to turn over their voter rolls. State officials have pushed back against those moves. They say states dictate how elections are run, not the federal government. Is it time for the DOJ to drop this fight, and will you do it?
Well, we're relying on a statute passed by Congress that allows us, in the right circumstances, to review and get those voter rolls. And so, yes, no, we're not going to stop doing what I think every American should expect us to do, which is make.
But while you have these Trump and MAGA bootlickers, you also had these enablers. You have people like Bill Cassidy, the senator from Louisiana, who's a medical doctor, who would enable Trump's behavior, even after Donald Trump cost Senator Cassidy his career and pushed him out as a senator because he wasn't MAGA enough. He still voted to confirm Todd Blanche, that guy right there. So Jake Tapper on CNN asked him, you voted for Todd Blanche. Do you think it was appropriate that Todd Blanche went to a political rally with Donald Trump on Friday in Nassau County and told people to vote for a Republican governor in New York? Do you think that was appropriate? What would you guess of Bill Cassidy saying? Bill Cassidy, I didn't see that. I didn't see that at all. Here, play this clip.
I want to ask you about Todd Blanche, because I know you had misgivings before you voted to confirm him as Attorney General. A few days after his confirmation, he appeared at an event alongside President Trump and the Republican candidate running for the governor of New York. And the event seemed to be pretty partisan. And then at the event, Attorney General Blanche praised the Republican running for New York governor. Take a listen.
We just heard from our great Nassau County executive, Bruce Blakeman, who is doing everything we need him to do to back the blue, to support law enforcement.
We're just a few months from the midterms. No Democrats spoke at the rally. A lot of Democrats considered it to be overtly political. Do you think it's appropriate for the Attorney General of the United States to be participating in an event like that 81 days before the midterms?
All I saw was that little snippet, so I'm going to reserve comment because I was not aware of that before this. I will say that Republicans are very strong on law enforcement. And the president has been strong on law enforcement, and Todd Blanche has been strong on law enforcement. But Jake, with all due respect, I had never heard anything about that rally until this very minute, so I'll reserve comment on that.
And then Bill Cassidy, who's Dr. Cassidy. He's a doctor, so he knows how dangerous RFK Jr. is, yet he also confirmed RFK Jr. And then so Jake Tapper said, is Trump saying crazy, stupid things that undermine faith in immunization? To which Senator Cassidy says, yeah, he's going to kill people with this, and it's so bad. Well, why are you voting for people like this, man? Why? You're a doctor. This should be one of your biggest issues. What is your issue? Is your issue just your belief of power? Like, what is your thing? If you know that, if you're a doctor and you know that people hate doctors and they hate you and they want to kill people and you still support them, what is even going on here? Here, play this clip.
That somebody has.
So President Trump also claimed that the combined MMR vaccine could be, quote, quite lethal. He referred to it as sort of like a nuclear weapon. He said he's seen proof that the size of combined vaccines are comparable to what he called a bottle of soda, a large vat, or what seemingly looks like gallons being pumped into a child's body. You've said someone needs to stand up to, quote, crazy, stupid things being said that undermine faith in immunization, unquote. Is President Trump saying some of these, quote, crazy, stupid things?
Yeah, that's a crazy, stupid thing. And by the way, let's go back to it. Instead of the child getting 2 shots, they're getting 6. Instead of mom and dad missing work twice to bring the child to the doctor, they're missing 6 times. And instead of the insurance company paying for 2 visits, they're paying for 6. Which is going to drive up the cost of the premium. So it's the child is going to get more jabs, the parent's going to lose money, and directly and indirectly premiums are going up, which works against affordability. Mm-hmm. This is why the president's poll numbers are going down, because people don't perceive that he knows the reality of their life. The reality of the life is that the current regime has been put in place precisely for the convenience of the child, for the convenience of the parent, and to prevent disease. Yeah. This is going backwards. We need to go forwards. And
then Cassidy says that if what Donald Trump said wasn't so potentially tragic, you would break out laughing in so many levels. There's nothing funny. I wouldn't potentially break out laughing about any of this. You, sir, enabled this. Your life's work was this because you allowed it to happen, and then you lost your job anyway. It's pathetic. Here, play this clip.
So President Trump said he wants to split the MMR, measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine into 3 separate shots. So that would be a total of 6 shots, despite objections to this from the American Academy of Pediatrics, the American Medical Association, American College of Physicians, and Infectious Diseases Society of America. Here is what the president said.
Nothing bad can happen from what we're doing. Nothing bad can happen. The worst thing that would happen would be nothing happens. We're not going to lose anything. At the same time, we could gain we could save hundreds of thousands of lives, millions of lives.
This is all really confusing for a lot of parents out there. You're a doctor. Is the president right that breaking up the MMR will save millions of lives and that nothing bad can happen because of these changes?
If it wasn't so potentially tragic, you would break out laughing at a comment like that. But let's just take it from the perspective of the parent. Now, instead of going to the doctor twice to get their child vaccinated, they have to go 6 times. Instead of the child getting 2 jabs, they get 6 jabs. Instead of mom or dad missing work twice, coming out of their pocket, if you will, to take their child to the doctor, they have to miss work or take vacation or personal leave 6 times. This is inconvenient. It's going to contribute to an increased loss of income. By the way, instead of the insurance company paying for 2 doctor's visits, they're paying for 6, which is going to ultimately drive up premiums going after affordability. And it will do nothing for things like autism. So, in fact, it will be counterproductive. And so it is wrong on so many levels. And this is frankly why I think the president's, accused of losing focus on affordability. This is working backwards on affordability. Now, by the way, Maha wants fewer jabs, not more. This substitutes 2 jabs with 6 jabs. And so even the people he's trying to appeal to have to scratch their head and think, what in the hell is going on here? So the president's wrong. There's a lot of bad things that will come out of this.
But what about the effect?
Well, there you have it, everybody. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. By the way, new glasses. I read all your comments that you did not like my old glasses. They would get foggy. They would get dirty quickly, and I'd have to keep on wiping them. So I got new glasses. I heard you loud and clear. I have a request for you, though. In light of my new glasses, will you order WTF America? This is totally non sequitur. The new book that I wrote with my younger brothers, Brett and Jordy. It comes out October, and it is available right now for pre-order, though. And the publisher says the pre-orders are very important. So I'll put a link in the description below. You can Google WTF America. Pre-order it now if you can. Thanks, everybody.
Before you go, our book, WTF America, is available for pre-order now. It's the story of how we got here and how we fight our way back. To pre-order, scan the QR code or click the link in the description. Let's do this.